Hello students, today we are going to study about spin-spin splitting. This is covered under nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to define spin-spin splitting, understand the reasons behind spin-spin splitting. You should be able to predict the splitting pattern for a given compound, and you should be able to perform the structural elucidation of unknown compounds. Let us have a look first at the NMR spectrum of bromoethane. So when you look into any NMR spectrum, you have to answer first 5 questions. How many signals are there? So here in the spectra, we can see 2 different signals. So this is going to give us idea about how many chemically non-equivalent sets of protons are there. So in this structure, we have these 3 methyl protons totally equivalent to each other, while the same way methylene protons are also chemically equivalent to each other. But these two protons, methylene and methyl protons, are non-equivalent, and hence we are going to have 2 signals in this NMR spectrum. The second question has to be answered is what is the peak height? So the peak height is going to give us an indication about how many protons are going to make the signal. Here this methyl is going to have 2 protons, so naturally this is going to be a small signal in comparison to methylene proton, and these will appear in the ratio of 2:3, which can be obtained from the integration value. The third question to be answered is what is the chemical shift? Now here we can see the chemical shift of methylene proton is somewhere 3.4. So this indicates that this proton is coming downfield, while methyl proton is coming upfield closer to that of TMS. This is the indication that methyl proton is more shielded in comparison to methylene proton due to electron withdrawing bromine group, and that's why it is coming downfield. The fourth question to be answered is what is the splitting pattern? Now, when somebody asks you a question, how many neighbors you have, it's very difficult to answer. We are not aware about the answer. But here in this case, methyl proton, here methyl signal, so it has told us the information that it is been made up of 3 protons, but additionally it is also going to encode for its neighbor methylene. So it's going to give us an indication about how many neighboring protons are there by splitting its own signal. So the methyl signal is going to split up depending upon how many neighboring protons are there, that we indicate as n plus 1. So methyl proton has 2 neighbors, and 2 plus 1, it will be 3. And you can see out here that the methyl proton is been splitting as a triplet. The same way is the case for methylene proton. So this is the signal for methylene proton. Methylene will see the 3 neighboring protons, and its signal will split into 3 plus 1, that is in the 4 lines. The final question to be answered is what is the value of coupling constant? So this is the value, it is a distance in between different lines of a multiplate. So this distance, we call this as a coupling constant, and this is related to the stereochemical aspects of the molecule. It will tell you ortho, para, meta, cis, trans relationship or axial equatorial positions of the proton. Now, spin-spin splitting is a term that describes the magnetic interactions between neighboring non-equivalent NMR active nuclei, which will cause splitting of the NMR signal. And these multiplates generally are named as singlet, doublet, triplet, and so on. Now, when you look into the structure of 1,1,2 trichloroethane, here also we can see 2 non-equivalent sets of proton. These methylene protons are equivalent to each other, but these are non-equivalent to this methine proton. Naturally, we are going to have 2 signals in the relative proportion of 1:2. Here 2 protons are making this signal. So this is the signal for methylene proton, and this is a signal with the integral of 1 for methine proton, this proton. And when you look into the splitting pattern now, here for the methylene proton, there is one neighbor, and that's why you can see that it is coming as a doublet. While for methyne proton, it can see its two neighbors and it will come out as a triplet. Here you can see that this is methyne proton and it will come out as a triplet, while this is your methylene proton and it has to come out as a doublet. Now the Pascal triangle is going to give you hint about what will be the line intensities of your multiplets. So this is the case for your singlet, this is the case for your doublet, triplet, and so on. So if you are getting a triplet, that's the indication the relative line intensities will be 1:2:1. That's the indication the middle peak will be 2 times taller than the corner one. So you can see out here, the middle peak is 2 times taller than the corner one. So whenever you have some odd number multiplet, in that case, always the central peak is going to be the tallest one, and thereafter the symmetry will be followed. And for even number multiplet, the central two lines will be of equal intensity, and then the symmetry will be followed. Now here in this case, it's not difficult to learn Pascal's triangle, because when you see at each level, each row, you can see that one number is added, and at each corner you have 1. So at extremes you have to write number 1, and the middle number is the sum of upper two numbers. So here you can see 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 1 3, and here 3 plus 1 4, 3 plus 3 6, and this is the way it's very simple to draw the Pascal's triangle. And this Pascal's triangle is going to give us a hint about the relative line intensities of a multiplet. So this is a common pattern, more examples so as to check the splitting pattern. So here this H will split to this H, provided that X and Y are not equivalent to each other. So each of the signal is going to come out as a doublet. Here you can see that this proton has a one neighbor, so it will come out as a doublet, while this proton has two neighbors, so it's going to come out as a triplet. Here in this case, you can see that this is the proton wherein it can see 6 neighboring protons. So 6 plus 1, it's going to come out as a substrate. While these these two sets of protons, means so total 6 protons, these are totally chemically equivalent to each other, and they will see its one neighboring proton, the methyne proton, and that signal will come out as a doublet. Now we have seen that the chemical shift is determined by the magnetic field experienced by the proton. So in NMR, we are applying the external magnetic field so that we can have a separation of alpha and beta spin states. So if you are applying the same magnetic field to different sets of protons, so naturally the distance in between alpha and beta spin state has to be equal, but this is, and they should absorb the same radio frequency. But actually this is not happening. Otherwise NMR would have been a useless technique. Actually the distance in between the alpha and beta spin state for different protons is different, and that's why they are going to absorb various different radio frequencies. Now why this is going to happen? This is going to happen because of generated local magnetic field. So although you have applied certain magnetic field which should cause the same gap in between alpha and beta spin states of different protons, but what additionally you have is a generated local magnetic field. So this local magnetic field will either act in a direction of the applied external magnetic field, or it will be against to that of the external magnetic field. Now here in this case, Br is a electron withdrawing group, and naturally the electron density around this methylene proton is less as compared to this methyl proton, which is more shielded. So whenever you apply, even though the same magnetic field, this magnetic field is not experienced by this methyl group, the electron cloud is going to generate its own magnetic field, which will be acting in opposite direction to that of the direction of applied magnetic field. And that's why the net magnetic field experienced by this proton is going to be less. So we can see the difference in between the alpha and beta spin state for this methyl proton is to be decreased. So as to get now this proton to the resonance, naturally you have to apply the more magnetic field. And that's the reason you see that the methyl protons come at a lower chemical shift value or the upfield position. It demands more magnetic field in comparison to methyl proton. Now this is the electrons, either sigma electrons or pi electrons. They are going to alter the magnetic field, local magnetic field, to more extent in comparison to what we see in a spin-spin splitting. Now here we can, even in spin-spin splitting, we see that there is a negligible difference in the magnetic field of the protons. If you are considering now here HA proton, we are measuring the signal of HA proton. Now what is going to happen along with the HA proton, apart from the electrons, it can see its neighbor HB. So in 50% of the molecule, it will see its neighbor HB to be aligned to that of the external magnetic field. Okay, and when this is going to happen, the net magnetic field experienced by this proton is going to be higher. So it demands lesser external magnetic field. And that's the reason this HA proton in 50% of the molecule only will come down with a downfield value as its neighbor is supporting it. While in the second case, remaining 50% of the molecule, here if you are tracking down the signal of HA, it can see its neighbor HB to be aligned opposite to that of the external magnetic field. So the net magnetic field experienced by this proton is going to be less. Okay, so that's why we have to apply more of the magnetic field, and you can see that it's demanding more magnetic field, and you can see that here we are getting the protons in 50% of the molecule coming down to the resonance upfield. Okay, so although we are tracking down HA, in 50% of the molecule, HA comes to the resonance downfield, while in remaining 50% of the molecule, the HA comes to the resonance at upfield. And you see that HA is been split up into the two lines with equal intensity, as we are having a 50-50% crowd out here. So both of them are having equal intensities due to these two possible spin alignments of HB. Now here, when you record HA, it can see possible orientations of HB and it will come out as a doublet. Same way, when you record HB, it can see its neighbor HA in these two possible orientations, and it's going to come here a downfield, and this is the upfield signal. Now suppose you have a case with a methine proton and a methylene proton. Now here in this case, if you're tracking down the signal of HA, HA can see its two neighbors, either both of them aligned to that of the external magnetic field. This case, in some of the molecules, both could be against to that of the external magnetic field. In some of the molecule, one will be aligned and one would be against. So now when you take the relative proportion, if you start off with 100 molecules, in the 100 molecules, 25 molecules will be having both the spin state aligned, 25 molecules will be having both the spin state against, while the rest 50% molecules will be having one aligned and one against. So these all spin states will be filled by the HACH, this methine proton, and in 25 molecules, this proton will come to the resonance downfield. In 25% of the molecule, it will come upfield, and in the remaining 50% of the molecules, it is going to take some intermediate value. And you can see the line intensity is also in the same ratio, 1:2:1. Now, when you consider the splitting pattern for methyl and methylene, so if you're tracking down your methylene signal, so methylene proton can see its three neighbors. So in few of the molecules, the three neighbors would be either aligned to that of the external magnetic field, or the three neighbors could be against to that of the external magnetic field. In few of the molecules, two could be aligned. So these are possible orientations. Okay. So this is against and two are aligned, or some possible layouts are like in this form. These two could be aligned and the central one could be against. The same way, we could have two against and one aligned to that of the external magnetic field. So naturally, the overall effect, you can see that whenever the methylene protons see the three neighbors align to that of the external magnetic field, so the magnetic field experienced by this methylene proton is going to get increased. It's going to get augmented. And that's why it's going to need lesser magnetic field to come to the resonance. And you can see out here, it's a downfield signal. While opposite is the case when it sees all three against that of the external magnetic field. And you can see in few of the molecules, the same methylene proton is going to come at a higher magnetic field value, resonance. And you can see somewhere in between values, when two aligned, it is a little bit downfield in comparison to when two of them are going to be against. And the relative line intensities also you can see in the same proportion. 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. Okay. Okay. So some points which should be remembered is this splitting is generally non-seen whenever there is a symmetry element. So whenever the protons are equivalent by symmetry, in that case, or they are chemically equivalent, they are not going to split out each other. So if you take an example of N-butane, so in case of N-butane, how many signals we can expect is 2, because we have just two sets of chemically non-equivalent protons. Proton 2 and 3 are equivalent to each other, while proton 1 and 4 are equivalent to each other. And here we don't expect the proton 2 to split 3 or vice versa. They are not going to split each other because we have an element of symmetry present out here. And that's why this CH3 signal will come out only as a triplet, and this CH2 signal will come out as a quartet. Same way, if the protons belongs to the same group, means they are chemically equivalent, they are not going to split each other. So the protons from CH3, they will not split each other, or from the CH2, they will not split each other. So whenever you see splitting, N+1 rule is followed, we get a first order spectra. If it is an aromatic compound or alkene systems, they generally give rise to complex first order spectra. You can test yourself by solving few of the spectra. This is a spectra of ethyl acetate. Now you have to draw the structure on your own and try to predict the NMR spectra for the compound. So first answer how many different sets of chemically equivalent protons and non-equivalent protons are there. So here we can see that 3 chemically non-equivalent protons are there. So these HC are equivalent to each other, but this is not equivalent to HA and HB. So we get 3 signals, HA, HB and your HC. HB is going to be more downfield because it is more deshielded. Deshielded is going to be downfield because it's been attached to the electron withdrawing oxygen atom. Then we are going to expect HA because it is been connected to the carbonyl and followed by the oxygen. And then finally we have HC proton coming to the resonance, being beta to that of oxygen. Check out the multiplicity values. HA proton doesn't have any kind of neighboring proton, so it's going to come out as a singlet. You can see out here that it is coming out as a singlet. While HC proton, there are 2 neighbors, so it has to come out as a triplet. While HB proton, we have 3 neighbors, so it's going to come out as a quartet. Now this for compound A, here CH proton, when you go to the neighbor, these two are its neighbor, each bear 3 protons. So this proton is going to split out as 3 plus 3 plus 1, 7. So it will come out as a sep state. So this proton will come out as a sep state. These two methyls are equivalent to each other. So naturally you are going to expect only one signal for these methyl protons. And for this methyl proton, there is only one neighbor, non-equivalent neighbor, and 1 plus 1, you will get this signal coming out as a doublet. And you have your isolated methyl with no neighboring proton, so it will come out as a triplet. Check out few of the more examples. Thank you.